Well, hola, America. So Sean Boy coming to bring some more news. Trump drops nightmare news for Somalians in Minnesota and their corruption. Now, America, we all know that the Somalians have been caught up in what we call a terror ring over in Minnesota. They have been caught for over $300 million of what we call welfare fraud. And no one is doing anything. And what do you call it? The Minnesota liberal over there was allowing all this fraud to go on. But here, let's listen to some of the stuff right here.
Somalis in Minnesota were just caught for committing their largest welfare fraud scheme yet. This fraud is so massive, Donald Trump is being forced to step in and address it. Not only did they steal it in the most egregious way possible, but it was uncovered that they were using the stolen taxpayer money to fund an Islamic terrorist group back in Somalia. As always, like the video.
Now, as you can tell right there, this is a Brandon Lehman, who's a news producer, or what do you call it, podcaster. I like some of his stuff he does. I've been checking a lot on him, and a lot of stuff he puts out is pretty spot on. But over $300 million of welfare fraud in Minnesota. 300 million. You remember when they were saying that there was no welfare fraud, that there was none of this stuff going on, and we're uncovering it day after day, and still liberals turn the other cheek and they don't care. This is how disconnected they are from the American people. But anyways.
And subscribe to the channel. You're going to want to stick around for this. But let's start by hearing from the ringleader in all of this.
I'm going to read some of it back into
United
English.
States Congresswoman Ilhan Omar.
I'm an American immigrant in the United States Congress. But I am a Somalian girl first, a girl with your lineage, a girl with your religion. That was a young child taken from her country. That misses her country and wishes to live there again and share with its people. I'm hopeful in the future that me and my children will be able to raise our kids back in Somalia, where I was born and raised. To make that possible, there is a lot of stuff we need to work on together here.
That a United States Congresswoman frequently and openly admits she does not view herself as an American, but a Somalian. She's furious and resentful that she was brought here. She misses it. She loves it. She wants to move back there again. She wants to raise her children and grandchildren there. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done first to make it more stable and prosperous. Is connected to every major Somali fraud ring that is robbing the Minnesota and federal taxpayer. We willingly allowed an entire diaspora of people whose culture is predicated on corruption, violence, and piracy to come settle in the United States. And now the very first generation of kids they have here, who are US citizens, are engaging in the same behavior that made Somalia unlivable. They're the most welfare-dependent immigrant group in the United States. They were already caught stealing $300 million in COVID relief funding that was meant for hungry children with the help of a self-hating white liberal lady. But take a look at their latest scheme, the largest one yet. This clip's a little long, but by the end of it, your jaw is going to be on the floor.
A new, stunning report from the City
Fox
Journal
News
showing a massive fraud scheme in
Will
Minnesota.
King Show.
You have to hear about this. It involves false autism claims, the Somali community, and connections to a terror group. Let's explain over at The Wall. Now, it all revolves around autism and HSS program. That is Minnesota's Medicaid Housing Stabilization Services. Now, this was created to help seniors, addicts, and others find housing, but the criteria to enter this program was incredibly loose and therefore easy to take advantage of. It's led to fraud and costs absolutely exploding. Just 5 years ago, in 2020, costs for this program were $2.6 million. 4 years later, by 2024, cost had been over $100 million, 104. Through the first 6 months of this year, costs are at 61 million, meaning if you double that over the entirety of the year, you're looking at $122 million. In 5 years, from 2 million to 122 million. Now, why? 6 people are accused of defrauding HSS, and they're members of the Somali community. But this just gets worse. If we take a look at Minnesota's federally funded autism program. Now, several people, in this example, a woman in the Somali community, are co-conspirators, and they're accused of recruiting kids for autism therapy. They brought in families, had them convinced to get their kids diagnosed as autistic. In fact, these families ultimately ended up having various social services bid for their children, competing with the number and size of check that they would get. It didn't matter if the kids had autism. And what happened? Autism claims to Medicaid surged. In 2018, $3 million. By 2023, listen here, from $3 million to $400 million. Autism providers jumped from 41 to 328 in 5 years. Now, City Journal reports that the Somali fraud rings send a lot of money back to Somalia. 40% of households in Somalia get remittances from abroad. That totals $1.7 billion. That is more than the entire budget of the Somali government. Money being sent abroad, from abroad, back to Somalia. Where is that money going? Take a look at this. Most alarmingly, a lot of that money is funneled through money traders, and in the end, ends up in the hands of al-Qaeda-linked Islamic terror group Al-Shabaab. So to bring this full circle, the Minnesota taxpayers are funneling money through fraudulent autism claims back to Somalia, where that money lands in the accounts of Al-Shabaab.
So not only are they unscrupulous enough to steal money allocated for hungry children, but they'll steal money allocated for children with mental disabilities. We are importing people into this country from places that absolutely despise us, who take advantage of our kindness, our generosity, our willingness to help, our social safety nets designed to protect people in need, and then scam, rob, and defraud them for everything they can. Because as Ilhan Omar stated, it doesn't matter that they live here. It doesn't matter that we make them citizens. They are Somalis, and the same cultural priorities and preferences that led to the destruction of Somalia are now leading to the destruction of Minnesota. But what?
So here you go, America. A massive amount of fraud. This is what happens when you allow the open borders. This is what happened during the Joe Biden administration. This is what happened. This is what liberals are doing to America. Liberals they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Destroy American values. And they're winning right now, America. They are destroying American values, and they're allowing massive corruption to make it happen. Oh well, America.